Hi, girl.
Hello.
Yes, for the dramatic pause. Hello.
Right? I was waiting for you to come in. Like,
Hey, guys. How you guys doing? Once again, welcome to another episode of In the Diva's Den. We cannot say enough how much we appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week to our foolishness and our shenanigans. We are definitely going to come back with another episode of foolishness and shenanigans. I mean, there has been a lot going on, girl.
it's almost like every week it intensifies, you know?
Just the craziness.
Who's writing this? Who's writing this?
Girl, bad episode. We're stuck in one. What's going on? Will it end? But before we get into our topics, of course, we have to do our check-in. So, Precious, how are you feeling, girl? Tell me what's going on.
I have really great news, y'all. My grandfather beat COVID and is home now. That is amazing. We're happy, blessed, good to see. It was a nice Mother's Day surprise. And we did a little house party with the fam, and it was nice to just see everybody. Even though we couldn't see each other, we got to just check in and see how everybody's doing. So, yeah. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm good. I'm still hanging in there. Definitely blessed beyond measure. I am going to start officially back at work next week. We kind of like tested the waters this week. I've heard that everything is going well for the most part. I'm really, really happy with how we are handling things since there is a lack of policies and procedures overall for everyone. Yeah. But I can definitely say that, you know, my boss is handling it well, doing really good with everything. So I'm excited to get back started, but I'm also still a little nervous.
Right.
Still a little nervous because we're not out of the clear.
Rightfully
so.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not out of the clear just yet. And we don't know when we'll ever be. And I will say, and I'm pretty sure that this won't be the first time that we do a lockdown.
I agree, especially with LA extending it through July now. It's almost like everybody fend for yourself, whatever works best for your state. And I'm not sure how that works for everyone. So yeah.
Sure. You know, and Mom, say shut up. Don't talk about my brains. You better get into it, giving 90s realness right now in black excellence.
I love it. And you got the dark lipstick too.
Yes. You see it, girl. You see it.
I'm giving autumn blossoms over here.
Yes, Elsa, come through. But and of course, we want you guys to check in. Let us know how you're doing, how you guys are holding up. You know, we keep the comments going throughout the entire show. So first of all, hello, thank you to everyone who's joining us. But let us know, are you doing okay? Check in with us. What is going on? Because we definitely are going to tell y'all about this foolishness. We want y'all to chime in what's going on in your cities, what's happening there. And I mean, girl, first things first. So we know that we are doing, you know, our first string of reopening stores and, you know, reopening certain restaurants. But with that, a lot of stuff has gone down.
Yeah.
You know, I know here that people just, for whatever reason, were excited to go to TJ Maxx. So there was a long line that literally circled around the entire, you know, outside mall. And people were waiting for, you know, hours to get into the store. You know, there are people who still aren't social distancing, stores that, you know, have 15, 20, 30-minute waits as far as, you know, checking out. And one of the stories that, you know, really bothered me, I don't know if you heard about this one. This one happened, I believe it was in Burbank, where a security officer was telling, you know, two teenage boys while they were in a Target that they had to not only social distance, but to wear masks. And instead of, you know, just obliging and saying, hey, we're sorry, or you know what, cool, we're going to leave, we'll come back, or, you know, covering with a shirt, anything. They decide to assault this man, so much so that they broke both of his arms. And it's just gotten to the point where I'm like, why are we turning ugly? Like, why is there chaos? I understand that people are having a hard time, you know, and they want their lives back, you know, but do we really have to act foolish?
It's turning into The Purge. I said it's turning into freaking The Purge. And what was it? Bird Box or whatever that movie was with the blind people
Mhm.
outside. It's like they were warning us that this is what's coming, you know?
Exactly.
Before you
Exactly.
know it, they're gonna, institute martial law. And then it's just gonna be chaotic here. Because people, number one, Americans, I'm sick of specific Americans that give us a bad name, that are
Hello.
so angry about wearing a piece of cloth across their face that they would like to walk around with assault semi-automatic weapons to stress their point. I
Exactly.
understand exercising your right. However, what is walking around with a gun threatening people? What is beating up a security guard going to do about wearing a piece of cloth? There's countries, and I've said this several times this week, there are countries where the air quality is so bad that they have to go outside with a mask. There are
Exactly.
countries that are so war torn that they haven't been normal for 10 years. And here
Exactly.
we are crying and boo-hooing over 3 months of having to stay at home in the luxury of our homes with our TVs and everything, regardless of the situation. It is still better than some others. And I understand there are people that are still struggling, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that have 3-story homes but want to go out in public because they feel like their rights are not being executed. I
Exactly.
can't.
And just one thing real quick before we go into, even more of the chaos that's happening. But just this past weekend, Dre and I, we were in the store and we were checking out our food line or whatever. But the young cashier, he told the guy behind us, he was like, hey, can you move back? You got to keep 6 feet in between, each of our customers.
Mhm.
And this guy, you would have thought that somebody told him that they were going to take his firstborn. Well, what do you mean? I'm stepping back. I'm giving him 6 feet. Blah 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 blah. This isn't right. Okay, well we're not gonna do that. Okay,
No.
this is our new normal. We have to follow rules, and I know typically there are some people who don't like to follow rules, but it is what it is. If you're going to come outside and not only not wear a mask, but to try to be honorary and indignant, and just I'm not going to do that, then don't come outside.
Right.
Stay where you are.
You stay in the house. Ain't nothing to do.
Girl. And the thing is, I can see if he was being rude, but he wasn't being rude. He was like, excuse me, sir, if you could just, move back a little bit. We have to make sure that we're, social distancing.
Right.
And you go off for no reason. We don't have time for that, okay? We don't have time for your tears. We don't have time for your privilege because this is real. There are real people who are getting sick. There are people every single day being diagnosed with COVID, and nobody wants to hear about how you don't want to wear a mask or you don't want to social distance. Okay, but we have to, because the second you or your friends or your family member gets sick, then all of a sudden you want to start a GoFundMe page and you want to cry on Facebook and ask for prayers. No. Keep that same energy that you had prior, okay? Because we ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that.
You the one that went off this week, girl.
Girl, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because it just made me so mad. I'm like, what? Doing that? But you know what else made me mad? In my hometown, my city of Pittsburgh, we made national news, y'all. I don't know if you heard about it, but people were upset, and it had to do with Red Lobster and Mother's Day. If you guys haven't heard, Red Lobster just couldn't keep up. They had an enormous amount of orders where, a lot of people just wanted to, I guess, essentially feed their mom or treat them to a Red Lobster meal. But they were so far behind that some people were told that it was going to be a 3-hour wait, a 4-hour wait. And it even got to the point where some people did not get service at all, did not get their food. They were standing in the parking lot. The line was wrapped around the building. And just to be told that the restaurant was going to be shut down and that they weren't going to get food at all. Yeah. So a lot of people were really upset about this. And I don't blame them, because if you know it's Mother's Day, and if you know that people love Red Lobster like they normally do, why didn't you prepare? And I understand that, you don't have your, dining room open, that you're not operating as you usually would. But if you know that your numbers were really, really high last year for Mother's Day, why wouldn't you project and make sure that you had enough people on staff to take care of these orders? And then on top of that, why would you still keep taking orders if you knew that you were 3 hours behind? So now we have people who are angry, they're hungry, you've messed up people's Mother's Days. And then on top of that, people still haven't been refunded for their money.
What? I don't understand, because it's Red Lobster. It's not like you add Chef So-and-so's. It's not like it's fresh stuff coming out. All that stuff is frozen in the freezer. I don't understand what took so long.
Girl.
What is happening?
And I mean, it was just a failure all around. And I just don't know how we got to that point without someone, a manager or someone in leadership just saying like, ooh, this is bad. We need to stop it before it gets worse. And it literally got to the point where it was worse. And now there is this whole outcry of people who are saying they still haven't gotten their refunds. You know, they're getting messages because I think Kayla's mom and dad, you know, they fell victim to this where they ordered, you know, a large amount of food, still didn't get anything, still don't have a refund, but yet you're giving me an email saying that you're going to give me 10% off my next purchase. I don't want your stuff.
Right. Give my money back now, expeditiously, as T.I. would say.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
Oh, that's what greed will do. They figured they can make as much as they've lost in the last couple of weeks within that one day with those sales. And they said, and I don't understand, if your dining room's not open, then what's taking away from the time of the stuff being cooked? Because you're not having to worry about anybody. They're all pre-ordered. Management and greed.
Exactly. That's exactly what it comes down to. And speaking of greed, girl, let's talk about the stimulus checks that we may or may not be getting.
Girl, I don't understand where this money is coming from, but all of a sudden we have $3 trillion to come up with a new stimulus package on top of the one that we had that barely went through successfully. And now they're talking about granting all of the student loan forgiveness. Everybody who has student loans, $10,000, I think it was, to cover, which ain't nothing but half a semester. But anyway, that's not the point. I just want to know if this country has been in debt for so many odd years, and that's the number one thing they've been complaining about with different presidencies. Where is this money coming from?
Exactly.
Why is it just now being allocated to help the people in this country?
Exactly.
I don't understand. $3 trillion? What? Yeah. So apparently there's also supposed to be a public loan forgiveness, where if you have public loans and you can't pay them back at this time, they will allocate funds for that. And then also the HEROES Act as well. So there's a lot of different things that are in this stimulus package, but they're saying that it's also quote unquote dead on arrival. That even though it was suggested, they're not going to go through with passing it.
Exactly.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
Exactly. And I understand, because the Democrats, essentially, they're just saying like, hey, we want to continue to help people because there are a lot of people who aren't as well off. You know, there are people who are still depending on on income, and they need it. And they've completely blown through, you know, the $1,200 or the $2,400 that they may have received, and they still need more. So, I mean, I get what they're trying to do. I understand. But like you said, I still want to know where this money is coming from.
Yes. And speaking of income, you brought up a good point, because another big part of this bill is supposed to be unemployment.
Right.
Now, how are they going to do that when people today on my Facebook timeline have said they have still not gotten through the unemployment? It's been months. I don't understand. Why is that not being funded first to make sure that all the back pay for people who've been living all this time with no money get paid, and then roll this out?
First of all, let me tell you, I'm gonna be real candid with y'all. I applied for my unemployment, I think the week after I was furloughed, which would have made it I think second to or last week of March. And I just got my unemployment, just got it like a week ago. And I mean, look how long we're talking about people who are waiting for money. Meanwhile, bills are piling up. And of course they can say, oh, well, this person or that person or this company or that company is saying that, you know, they'll hold off for you. Because you still have some companies who don't care. They still want their money, and they will cut you off. Sprint. Hello. Let's put them out there. And then on top of that, like, I don't want to have this mass accumulation of bills. So by the time I do get something, I'm back where I started. You know, and then we talk about these stimulus checks. Okay, yes, that's great. I appreciate you giving me extra money. But guess what? I still don't have mine. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Everything's back. The question is, will America still be a superpower or be considered a superpower nation after all of this is done? My answer is no. Because the way that people are thinking about us, the way that they were thinking about us before, and then when Trump got elected, and then now, we're like the laughing stock of the world at the
moment. Girl. I just told my mom the other day, I'm about to go to Canada. I'm tired of this. Tired.
Well, you get $2,000 a month there.
Girl, could pay off a lot of stuff. Goodness. But we do need to move on to some somber news. I'm pretty sure that you guys may have heard where we had several celebrity deaths just in a matter of a couple days or weeks within each other.
Yeah, they always say that it comes in threes, but this time it's a little bit more than that. Andre Harrell was the first to pass. He was 59. If you don't know Andre Harrell, he is responsible for Puff Daddy. That's all I have to say. The bad boy movement, all of that would not exist had it not been for Andre Harrell, and a lot of the hip hop R&B movement in and of itself. He's responsible for that. DJ D-Nice actually announced his passing during his set when he was live. After him, we found out the very next day that Little Richard, rock and roll legend Little Richard, passed away. After that, soul legend Betty Wright, Tonight Is the Night, passed away. And then most recently, Jerry Stiller, who is a wonderful comedian, also Ben Stiller's dad, passed away as well. So rest in peace to all of them, and we thank them for their contribution to the arts.
And we definitely want to say none of them passed away from COVID, right?
It has not been confirmed. For Jerry, they said it was natural causes. Andre, I don't think they released. And I do have to mention, Babyface actually canceled his Waiting to Exhale Mother's Day tribute because of Andre's passing. Yeah, and they did do a little tribute during the Erykah Badu and Jill Scott one as well. Yeah, they did not mention. Betty Wright may have, but they didn't officially say that what their deaths were from. So, yeah. Okay. Definitely our prayers go out to their family, because that was completely unexpected. Completely. And I guess we'll say the honorable mention. You said it was who again? Oh, Siegfried and Roy. Roy from Siegfried,
already done.
The original Tiger King.
I already thought he was dead.
Yeah, because he was attacked a while ago, and he wasn't doing well because he was attacked by the tiger. And I believe that's the one that was attacked by tiger. But anyway, he did pass away from the virus. Yes.
Girl, I thought he was gone. Forgive me. Thought he was gone. My bad. But we do want to know, we want to take this time to, talk to you guys. What is it that you guys have been doing since the lockdown? A lot of us have been trying to keep busy with TikTok videos, binge watching shows, reading. I guess I see a lot of Facebook arguments now. I'm like, people just bored.
Just arguing for nothing.
For nothing.
They'll say I saw one person, girl, I love you, but she put this statement out, and she said, mature girls that dated older guys in high school were dating pedophiles. And she said, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to just put this out here. I'm like, come on now. We can't be being messy with conversations like this.
Exactly.
We can't be messy like that.
Girl, you just wanted to start an argument. And even Dre, he brought up a good point, working. There's still some people who have not stopped working. They've been continuously working. Chiquita says she's been reading, adulting, parenting. Yes, because my little nugget been keeping you busy, girl.
He's adorable. Oh my God.
Yeah. But what about you, Precious? What have you been doing?
I've technically still been working too, editing a lot of projects coming through. And on the downtime, I've actually been really into my Korean dramas, more so than before. So if y'all are looking for something to watch that's a little bit different than what you're used to, I highly suggest checking out some of the dramas on Netflix. One of them, if you're into zombies, is a drama called Kingdom.
I still have to watch that.
Yes.
Still have to watch that.
It's basically zombies, but set in the Joseon era, the ancient era in Korea. And it's very interesting how it starts and the story behind it. Another one that we're watching is King the Monarch. It's a nice little love story, and it's like two parallel worlds kind of going together. Watching variety shows, according to you and Kayla's, actually more so Kayla's recommendation, The Little Fires Everywhere. I'm trying so hard to get back into that because Carrie in her faces. I can't.
Come on, honey. Come on.
Yeah. But it's nice to escape into another world other than what we're in right now. So that's essentially what I do when I watch these dramas and all that stuff. What have you been up to?
It's funny that you mentioned that as far as escaping to another world, but I have given into the craze of Animal Crossing. If you guys have not heard of this game, it's solely on Nintendo Switch. And I'm sorry because I haven't nerded out enough to give you a bunch of information on it. The only thing I can really tell you is that it reminds me of The Sims, but a really cute version of it. So essentially you're put on an island and you try to get your island up to a certain standard to get this concert. And I mean, like, it has gone to a completely different level. There are 11 million people who are playing this game now. As you can see, it's on my Switch.
Got it.
It's on my Switch as we speak. Celebrities like T-Pain, he's playing it. Elijah Wood is playing it. Brie Larson, like, there's a bunch of people who are in on this craze, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so addictive. It's so popular that now even in stores, you cannot find a Nintendo Switch anywhere. And then some people have even bought them or trying to resell them because they're so popular. So if you go online and see like a Switch for like $600, you know what's up.
Yeah.
But that has been keeping me busy. Of course, you know, the show, has been keeping me busy as well. And of course, the love of my life. Yeah, spending time with him. Yeah. But I see that a lot of our people are like Miss Lisa, she's saying she's working to feed kids in the area. Thank you so much, because I know that is difficult. Yeah. And you know, Papa Vince, he said he's been working, writing, cooking. Yeah, we've been seeing him.
He has been cooking. So that means you can do class. That's what that means. Okay.
Feed your children. Hello. But yeah, I mean, that's what's been keeping us busy. So we definitely want to hear from you guys. What has been keeping you busy? Monte, I know you've been working through COVID as well. Shout out to you. And he has become a member of CG.
Oh, congratulations. Sorry.
And now. Proud of you. But definitely let us know what you guys have been, keeping you busy. But another thing that has been keeping me busy, and I have to, give credit where it's due, is Kayla. Kayla has been keeping me up with these shows, and she has sucked me back into the reality world of, Real Housewives of Atlanta and Love and Hip Hop and Black Ink, because I had sworn off of all of those for a while now. Mm-hmm. But I have been sucked back in, and when I say this stuff is messy, girl, it is messy. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and bring her on here so we can get into this reunion, baby. Because child. Kayla, you there, girl?
Yes, girl, I'm here. So to sprinkle a little bit of messy boots in your life.
Yes, honey. Goodness. So if you guys have not seen or heard of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, has been resorted to a Zoom meeting, and it was aired this past weekend, and it's part one of what, I think 3?
3. Yeah.
But you would think that for the show being on for as long as it has been, that these ladies would get themselves together. They have not. This is the pettiest, messiest, ridiculousness I have ever seen in my life. So, Kayla, give them a quick recap of what exactly was going on.
So, I guess to just recap the whole season really quick, no one likes Nene. Repeat with me. No one likes Nene. We don't know why, but they can't stand it. But really, she's rich. She's fabulous, and bye wig. That's all you need to know. It was just messy. Everybody was coming for everybody. Portia definitely was clapping on Eva. Eva, go sit down. Just go sit down, because you got roasted, toasted, and dusted. Collectively. You got your soul collected. But I can't wait to see what's in tune or in stores for next week. I know it's probably going to be even messier, because we're going to hear a lot more from Kandi. And hopefully we get to find out what the squabble is between her and Nene, because they just don't like each other right now. And they're at odds.
And I mean, even to play off of what Papa Vince and my mom was saying, like, they're just like, look, it's nasty, it's trashy, extremely immature women. And we talked about this, before. When it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta or any of those shows, I noticed that with this in particular, especially the reunion, it was a lack of accountability. Yeah. And I feel like if you really want to grow, if you really want to get past the pettiness and the trashiness and the back talk, you have to be willing to say, I was wrong. I apologize. We don't even have to be cool. But, I was wrong in that moment. I'm sorry. Let's move on. And, let's just move past this.
Let's be professional women.
Exactly.
And can't no one seem to get that through their head.
Yeah.
No. And I mean, even to Precious' point, like she said, there would be no show. We get that.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, I feel like you have to reel it in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting to the point where Candy's not even known as a musician, songwriter, singer anymore.
Right.
She's known for Ratchet TV now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even like Eva, like before, we knew she was a little messy on America's Next Top Model, but I always still liked Eva. But after watching the reunion and watching, you know, not even the season because she really wasn't there because she was pregnant all the time. But after watching the reunion, to see her stoop down that low and to really just be as ugly as she was, I was completely turned off from her. Completely, where I'm like, you know what? I don't even know if I like you as a person, as a model. You know, I'm over you. You know, and I mean, it's like I said, it's messy, so I'm still keep watching. But I'm just like, y'all aren't young. You're not spring chickens. You know, you women are in your 50s, you know, your 40s and 30s or whatever. But at some point, you just got to be like, I'm too old for this. I'm too old.
Right.
I'm too old. And to get to the point where you're just like, I'll do anything to keep a peach. Because I think that was what Eva was trying to do. Like you were trying to, you know, start these arguments and these fights because you want to stay on the show because it does pay the bills, you know. But at what cost?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. I agree. It's just, I think everybody has to grow up, but at the same time, we know there's an entertainment factor and you kind of have to bring the ratchet to keep people entertained. Not to say, I hope to God that they're not like this, you know, with the cameras off, but there might be a little bit that just oozes over, you know. It's a part of who they are now. So I don't know, but it's for the culture, you know. We need it. We need it.
Do we really?
We need it to validate us. I mean, we don't, but we do because we like being messy.
And speaking of messy, for those of you who are watching Insecure right now, this season has definitely taken a turn for the worse, especially when it comes to friendships, you know, and it brings up a lot of questions. So, Kayla, you want to take it away?
Spoiler alert for anybody who is not caught up.
Yes.
Turn it off now.
Yes. I mean, at this point, y'all should be caught up. Like, come on.
Let's just talk about Issa and Molly. I mean, they've been the best of friends since the very beginning season. And, you know, with friendship, there's highs and there's lows. And definitely their friendship is at an all-time low this season. I mean, so much so that the latest episode, they got into a fight, not a physical altercation, but, you know, definitely a breakdown in friendship and a breakdown in communication. And unfortunately, it's like, where do we go from here? Because there was a lot that was said without almost being said. And so I would be sad a little bit, just a little, if they don't fix their friendship like within the next 3 episodes, because that's all we have left. But, you know, I guess we just got to see. But I think the argument and the fight almost in a sense needed to happen. We needed to see another layer to their friendship, but this by far was definitely the worst for the two of them.
Definitely. And I mean, Precious, you brought up good points about them both being wrong, and just, you know, their lack of willing to communicate with each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you can't be mad that somebody doesn't understand why you're upset if you don't ever say anything. So the entire time we're watching these episodes, we see Molly being frustrated, but she's never voicing why she's frustrated. She keeps putting him back. We see in the scene when she was in her office and Issa called after the headliner dropped out and she was trying to get somebody from Live Nation with Andrew. She doesn't know that her and Andrew are on the rocks because of what's going on with their relationship. So the timing of her asking him for help was not right because they're on the rocks. And she was getting ready to tell her that, but Issa was so into doing the headline, and rightfully so, because she's planning something, that she didn't pick up on the cues that her friend really needed to talk about something. But Molly could have pushed back and said, hey, I don't think now is a good time because of this. But she never fully said it. She just begrudgingly just said, you know what, I'll help.
Exactly.
And then she, thought about it, and they talked. She said, you know what, I want to protect this, which I understand that, but still, you never voiced the reason of why things are not right between the two of you. So it just keeps edging it on, and that's why it almost came to a physical altercation, because everything that had been building up, even from season 1, had been building up, building up, building up. And you notice there was a lot of passive aggressive interactions between the two of them since the first episode.
Yes,
Definitely.
Said to her, and she was like, oh, you like messy. And then Issa said to her, well, if you could say that to me, then I could tell you that you always nitpick and stuff. The line with each other that they never discussed. And so because you're my best friend, you should be able to say something that's like that to me, but your feelings still get hurt. You still have to express that. So
Exactly.
I think that's the major breakdown. And I did notice, I know we were talking about this too, the postpartum depression that's coming out with Tiffany. The jokes and everything that they're doing, but it's a very serious undertone. It'd be interesting to see what happens with that story and character development and how that brings them together, if it does. I don't know.
And I mean, you made a good point about that, because I think that something drastic is going to happen for them to essentially put their stuff aside for the moment and come together like, you know what, we've been tripping, both of us equally. Molly more so, because
thank you.
She was wrong. She was dead wrong to address Issa at her event. You were not, in that moment, you were not being a good friend. Right. Now, I know you may feel some sort of way, but you should have been like, you know what? I didn't agree with what she did, but I'm proud of my girl. The event was a success. Everything's going really good for her. She's having her moment. This is her time. I'm going to let her shine. But we're going to talk about this, but not right now. You know?
Just be in support of. Don't have anything after that. Like, not a but, not a heck. No, just be there.
Thank you, girl. And in that moment, and also, we definitely are pressed for time, but we have to talk about some of our favorites that are not going to be returning because of COVID. So, Kayla, give us the rundown. What is going on?
All right, so everybody knows last summer, HBO had a big hit with Euphoria. Thanks to that awesome, amazing cast, but unfortunately, COVID, by Euphoria, all they had was their first table read. So unfortunately, we are not getting Euphoria season 2 this summer. That has been put on delay. Handmaid's Tale, another favorite Hulu original, love it dearly. Unfortunately, it's been delayed as well due to COVID. Black Mirror, although they've been slacking, and I do want to see their new season, but I mean, it's on delay. Let's just say that it's on delay. And The Walking Dead, everybody loves AMC's The Walking Dead, but unfortunately, they couldn't even finish season 10. So there's been a pushback or a delay with even having them release it to Netflix to binge watch. So if you're someone like me who does not watch it when it comes on, and you watch it on Netflix, unfortunately, there's a waiting process now. And if, COVID and this pandemic, if this keeps up any longer, most of our shows that we watch during the fall probably won't be making a return back either, because now's the time they typically, start shooting for fall episodes. So it's pretty sad, but that's what we're going to be missing. Oh, and I'm sorry, Love and Hip Hop.
Yes,
suspended indefinitely. That and the Black Ink Crew. That goes for New York and Chicago and LA, because I forgot about them.
Okay, so then what you're telling me is that we're going to end up going through all of Netflix because there won't be anything to watch.
Girl, we ain't getting no new content.
Love and Hip Hop will finally actually make music.
No new content, unfortunately.
I said maybe the people on Love and Hip Hop will finally actually make music because there's nothing else to do.
Because they're always in the studio. Always. Nothing. But speaking of hip hop,
you better respect me.
Speaking of hip hop, Lil Boosie is out here tripping. But among tripping, he has been offered a reality TV show. So, Kayla, let us know what's going on with Boosie and some of the backlash he's receiving And I guess the good news he's gotten.
First of all, when you say Lil Boosie's name, you got to say it a certain way. Okay, you got to say Boosie. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, anyway, there go that little crusty little Jiminy Cricket right there. So this fool, not only is he being offered a reality show, kind of like a Flavor of Love type deal. Who wants to be a part of that? I'm not sure, but whatever, to each their own. He's also been in some trouble or in the hot seat because did this fool admit that he paid some lady basically to take the virginity of his nephew and his son? And he's like bragging and boasting about it on his Instagram. There are a couple problems with that. Number one, how come Instagram hasn't shut Boosie down?
Right.
I need him to be shut down. I almost want him to go back to jail. And then I'm gonna need him to lose custody of all 29 of his kids. Like, what's going on? That isn't cool. This isn't cool.
I almost want him to go back to jail.
You know what's really sad though? This is something that happens in the industry, and he's not the first to brag about something like this. This actually happened with Diddy and Usher, and yeah. So I don't understand this. It's disgusting to me. I'm sure to y'all too. But it's like the things that he does on his Instagram, the stuff that the women that are manipulated. I just, like you said, I don't understand how he's not shut down by Instagram. I've seen people shut
permanently.
Down.
And see, this is a prime example of views are what essentially is not what's making the world go round, because the simple fact that he gets views, you know, he is trending. People are talking about him. They're loving his antics, regardless of how vulgar they are. He is now being offered a reality TV show, you know, so you get rewarded for this ridiculous and this disgusting behavior. But then you look at, you know, these kids who are doing all these random things on, you know, social media to try to get famous because they see that you're being rewarded for poor decisions. Like, so I'm going on social media and I'm bragging about the simple fact that, you know, my 12 and 13-year-old son and nephew, I decided to pay an escort, you know, to take their virginity away or to, you know, perform oral sex on them. And you think that that's okay. You want to renege and say, oh, I didn't do that. But now the video has resurfaced, regardless of if it was in 2017 or not. You said it. And then all of a sudden you're, you know, telling people to show their coochie lips on, you know, Instagram and, you know, pussy pop on a handstand, and these girls are doing it, you know, because they want their 15 seconds of fame. You know, they want to be that chick that, you know, every rapper is, you know, desiring. And then now all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure it's VH1. It's either VH1 or MTV. Somebody has given him the reality TV show. Then all of a sudden, now we're going to give you a TV show, but we're missing out on the simple fact that you paid someone to perform oral sex on your nephew and your son. We're going to disregard all that and reward you with the show.
You know what it is? That double standard, because they're males. It's a stamp of pride for some people, and that's why there's not the same cancel culture that came for T.I. when he was checking his daughter's hymen in the gynecologist. The cancel culture came for him expeditiously. However, they did not come for Boosie at all. He is being promoted because he made his boys into men. So, yeah. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Let me tell you something. Pastor Precious, what you're not going to do is get everybody together this episode. Okay, that's what you're not going to do. You're not going to do that, girl. Come up on here like Ayana and let people know. You know, look, you're wrong.
Need to fix their life.
Yeah, they do.
Period.
They do.
You know, but I completely agree. I feel as though if that was a little girl that he did this to, then it would be like, oh, we got to stop him. You know, but now because they're little boy, you know how people get on such, this is disgusting. This is disgusting. But because it's boys, it's like, oh, it's no big deal. We're making them men. It's a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old. You know? Yeah. I mean, think about your mindset as a 12-year-old. Like, were you really ready? Like, oh, well, who am I? I'm going to get this grown woman to perform oral sex on me. No! You watching SpongeBob.
He barely learned how to use deodorant and got streaks in his drawers. And you sitting here.
Not even sure if you know how to wipe from front to back. But you want some. You know what?
If you still asking me for a pudding snack, you ain't ready for this puppet.
Listen, still talking about you thirsty and not thirsty. Sir, go to bed.
Stop.
Still asking for a Lunchable.
Go to bed. I'm over it. Completely over it. But that is our time, guys. We want to thank you so much for tuning in with us. Thank you, Kayla, for letting us know what is going on in the world. I guess we'll keep you posted about what's going on with the second episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes.
And 90 Day Fiance girl.
Ooh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my 600-pound life that we all gonna be on because we all been eating while on quarantine.
I rebuke that in the name. No.
Ooh, child.
But thank you, girl.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
So thank you guys again for another fun episode. Next week we will have a real estate agent who is going to be on because I know a lot of people are interested about being first-time home owners, or they just have questions about the status. Yes, girl. They just have status about the questions about the status of their mortgages, or just essentially everything with COVID. So she will be on to answer all of your questions and, just get some insight there. But Precious, how do you feel? You good, girl?
Yeah, I'm doing good. This is my highlight of the week, child. This right here. Because, you get to do the face a little bit, get to put on the wigs, you know what I'm saying? Just get yourself together. Any other time, you don't want to see it.
And we get to go. This is the one time where I can go off.
Yeah, because I get to see you. Because I can't, you know what I'm saying?
Girl. But thank you guys again. And make sure you're following us in the Divas Den, TV on IG. Tell a friend, do a watch party, share, and, we'll be back next time. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.